Hello, this is Lisa Lee and welcome to my channel. So today's topic is spirit help, what's going on, general guidance. So I'm going to do this reading a little bit differently. Normally I just sort of pick up a channel and I just let it sort of flow through. But today I wanted to do this reading for myself because I'm feeling very much like spirit, what's going on, help kind of a thing. And whenever I do a reading for the collective, I'm a part of that collective. That's just the way it works. Everyone who does readings for collectives, they're a part of the collective that they read for. And reading for a collective, as I understand it and experience it, is like reading for, like, it's kind of like a school of fish. And each fish has its own experience of an individual path, but all of the fish are essentially moving kind of on the same paths. And so this is a reading for everybody who's in my collective who has had this very strange week where there's just been emotional flooding and it's mysterious. Like the last couple of days, for me at least, I've just been feeling an intensity that I don't even... it was just mysteriously difficult. Now we do have 6 planets in retrograde right now, I think it is, and so communication and understanding, everything's going to be a little bit wonky. But let's go ahead and pull some cards and just see what spirit wants to show us in the way of answers. And I'm part of this exploration with you, so that's sort of what that whole spiel was about. Now I'm going to start by pulling a couple of oracle cards, and I'm going to jump into tarot cards. But yeah, the basic idea here, and I'm drawn to grab that one too. The basic idea here is that I'm on this journey with you, that this has been a week of, I don't know what's going on. Why do I feel this way? It's the most intense feeling ever. What does it mean for me? And if you're having a similar experience, I'm going to intend to connect with you. If you want to intend to connect with me, we can ask spirit to shed some light and discover these answers together. Well, we'll see how this works out. We'll see if I post this or not. Getting a little personal here, but let's go ahead and start. All right. So I see bring love into the situation. I'm going to take these. It's time to take action. Okay, bottom of the deck, we have don't let pride get in your way. And I'm getting something interesting from that. Let me tune in for a second. It seems like don't let pride get in your way. Don't let pride get in your way has less to do about humility and more to do with healing, weirdly. It's almost like spirit is sort of conveying, I'm kind of hearing or feeling that, like, to heal right now is to allow yourself to be soft. And I'm actually seeing, like, I don't even know what I'm looking at, but like a ground softening material, sort of like something that softens otherwise like calcified. So there's like a softening that's happening that is related to healing. So bring love into the situation, take time to breathe out, and it's time to take action. Spirit, what is this? There's something here. Let me just take a look at it. So there's a situation where, you know, I'm drawn to the black hole here, and I'm almost hearing like black hole of grief, which that's like a very, and I'm seeing this pouring out. This is this flooding. It's an emotional flooding, and it seems like an abyss. And what spirit wants to say is sometimes, and this is coming through a little bit choppy because again, I'm sort of like trying to interpret in a slightly different way than I normally do. But it's almost like spirit is saying, I know I'm with you. I feel everything that you're feeling. This bottom of the pit feeling, I'm right there with you. I'm feeling your feelings. And what spirit is saying is you can stay in those feelings forever because it feels like there's no lifting out. It does feel almost like a flu, kind of a chronic thing. But even in that flu-like space, there's like, I'm seeing again, like the softening of the ground. So like even in that flu-like space, And again, the flu, like the winter flu, like head groggy, body aches, but as an emotion. Basically, it's almost like the flu is an emotion. Kind of like be in that emotion of like, this feels awful or painful in a way. Like, I accept this emotion. I accept this abyss, and take the panic out of it, of like, why can't I stop feeling this way? Like, what is this, and how can I, like, what do I need to, where can I get surgery? Like, how do I get rid of this? Instead of being in that space, to just sort of say, okay, this is a flu. I'm going to accept this feeling, and I'm just going to let this work its way out of my system, and sort of, and, you know, and let my system sort of process it, my body, my, you know, just move with it. And that's just take time to breathe out, because like, as you're sort of bringing like love and compassion into the situation of like, it doesn't feel good in my body right now. Yeah, take a deep breath in right now with me. Hold it. All right, now let it out. Just connect with me for a second. And just be in that stillness. This is where we're not alone. It hurts. It's gonna hurt. Part of why it's a little incomprehensible is because these are really big emotions. You can breathe through this, and that's actually how you move through this. There's not a quick way of shifting into a new mood. You know, time to take action. And the bottom of the deck being, don't let pride get in your way. That's kind of stopping yourself from being like, this isn't acceptable. I need to go exercise. I'm going to run for 45 minutes, and then I'm going to do 58 push-ups, and then I'm going to drink something, and then I'm going to, yeah, like, that's not the kind of action. That's what the don't let pride get in your way, because that's basic. This is being like, I can get rid of this. I don't like this feeling. It's weird, and I'm not going to deal with it, and I'm just going to like, this is avoidance. Like, I can handle this myself. I mean, that's how it's coming through for me. And so the time to take action, because these two, to me, I'm like drawn to both of these as being kind of like this black hole. You know, this time to take action is saying to me, time to take action by bringing love into the situation and breathing through this feeling and processing through it, because there's something that this feeling has to teach you. The reason why there's a question mark, what is this feeling, at the end of it, is because it's you know, Spirit's basically saying there's like a design almost, wherein like the exploration of what this is that's where you find there's like a little nugget of treasure, Spirit is saying, in that. So we're all going to sit in a little bit of discomfort. And by that, I don't mean like, don't inflict it upon yourself. If you're feeling fine, feel fine. But if you came to this reading feeling like you needed emotional support or help or guidance from Spirit, like, it's here. And so I'm going to move these over since we've gone over this. Spend time here. This is, I don't know why Spirit's having me kind of do that, but yeah, Spirit's like, I want there to be a feeling of like, we're connected. And we are, but to really acknowledge it in this moment, that like time, space, irrelevant. If this reading found you, Spirit found you, and right now we're really connecting. And so Spirit just wants you to sit in that connection for a minute with me. It's really beautiful, actually. As we we're going to start to unpack some of what these stuck emotions might be. Oh, Spirit's, this is cool. All right, let me grab it. I used to use this. I used to use this for like de-escalation therapy. And so I'm going to use these cards. What is she doing? This is the bag of mixed emotions. And I don't generally use this for divination. This is usually kind of a therapy prop, but Spirit is kind of telling me that this is what we're doing, and so this is what we're doing. So I'm mixing up the bag of mixed emotions, and in a second you'll see what's going on in here. This is just a thorough shuffle. Okay, I'm gonna open it up. I'll stick my hand in, and I'm gonna feel around, and I'm gonna grab some of these. And we're just gonna get some mixed emotions out so that we can start unpacking it. I'm just moving my hand around until I feel something that sparks. There's something that sparks. Okay, energetic. Let me get a little less specific. I'm just feeling around for whatever. Spirit, what am I looking for? What are you having me feel for? That one? What else? What else? This one. Any more? Keep going. This one. All right. Okay. We've got a bag of mixed. Okay, so we have triumphant, kind, deceptive, and energetic. All right, let's unpack these. These are good. That bag is full of it. It has every emotion imaginable in there. So, or kind is not really an emotion, but it has all this stuff. This is an interesting group of. Let's take a look. So energetic, triumphant, and kind. That's awesome. I want to look at deceptive because I think that this is where like there's that ouch, right? Isn't there? Spirit, tell us about that. Like, what is this? This could be like not being honest with ourselves. This can be not being honest with others. This can also be paranoia, honestly. When we're too concerned about what others think about us. And we're like, oh, interesting. So it's almost like there's this tendency. Spirit's showing me something. So let me just see if I can lock on. There's this tendency to fixate outside ourselves and look at other people and think about like, what are they thinking about me? What do they think about me? And somehow bypassing that part where you're like, what do I think about them? Like, what do I really think about them? So Spirit is almost saying like, you know, there's a way in which we can be deceptive to ourselves, just in terms of like taking the wrong turn in terms of interest and, you know, infatuation at wanting someone to be perceiving you in a certain way, and like that's the love story, instead of the love story being about this is who this person is and that's who that person is, and then they meet and they get to know each other and they decide, and that you're coming to the equation not with does this person like me, but do I like this person? I don't know why that came through. I don't think that applies to me, but no, I don't think it does. But so that's for somebody. So let me keep on going. Let's see what we have here. Spirit, what is this deception about? What is this deception about? This Spirit is also saying this is also about trust. That a lot of what is happening right now in the way of feeling like there's a Spirit is showing me a snowball. And at the middle of the snow, like it's a tiny little snowball, and it's a snowball of like doubt and like, I don't, you know, and then like a lack of ease and trust. And then it starts to roll down the hill and it picks up like frustration, and then it rolls over, you know, self-worth issues. And then it rolls down, you know, like it's almost like the snowball's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger because there's a lot of emotions that attach to it. Spirit is saying this often happens with shame. Shame can just start as like a little moment where, you know, you're in 5th grade and somebody made a remark and you're like, ugh, and that can actually begin that little shame snowball that like accumulates into this big adult phobia. So basically Spirit is saying, you know, when we're looking at this deception card and we're looking at this issue of trust, just generally speaking, it's about the core where like trust was broken to begin with, and that everything attached to that is really, Spirit is saying when you're like, I don't know what this emotion is. I don't know why I'm feeling like this. I can't figure that. What is this? You know, because I all week have been feeling like there's like a swarm of bees like that stung me inside. Like I don't, that's not usually a feeling that I have in the way of emotional distress. And so, but Spirit is saying, like, you know, when you can't even figure out what that feeling is, that's a mystery to be solved, because the origin of it is the problem, and everything else is just what's stuck to it, like a snowball that accumulates snow as it goes down the hill. And so that's what Spirit is bringing through in the way of giving me some information regarding this deception. Okay, let's keep going. Let's get some more tarot cards. My heart just shifted. That was really interesting. I don't know who that corresponds to, but I just felt like a shift in my heart. Something just sunk. Interesting. Okay. Oh, really? Okay. And one more. A song just flew through my head, and it's from a Disney movie, like an old one. I'm not sure, but I can't sing. Like, here's the thing, Spirit. I can't carry a tune. Let's see. I'm gonna sing it. I can't. See, I'm embarrassed. But the lyrics are, I know you. I've danced with you once upon a dream. I know you. That look in your eyes is so familiar to me. And you know, and don't you know it's true? Something. Yeah, I don't know what that is. It's anyway, this like went screeching through my head, like very loud, like not screeching, but because it's a very melodic. But it's from Disney movie. I know you, I've danced with you once upon a dream. I know you, that look in your eyes so familiar to me. Don't you know it's true? Oh, I don't know. Somebody knows. If you know what it is, comment down below, maybe a link or something, because that's like I'm hearing that really loud in my head. Okay. Whew. There has been, you know, looking at the bottom of the deck energies here, there's a whole new chapter here, like not just a new chapter, like a shocking, uncomfortable, new way of even like reading, seeing, understanding chapter. Because what I'm drawn to here is that she's reading off of a wall. And it's a memorial to those who were lost. So that this card really symbolizes like a whole new chapter. This is not only a new chapter, it's a different way of reading and experiencing the words. There's a gravity to it. Whew, that came through heavy. Oh my God. This is intense. So feeling your way through this. So Spirit is saying this new direction that you're going, it's completely, it just doesn't feel like anything you've ever felt before. Look at her hand, looking at her hand. And you know, what's also fascinating here is like, what Spirit is showing me is that, I don't know if the glare is messing this up, but this is a reflection, but look at this red dress. It touching your, it's almost like, wow, this is really interesting. A new chapter where you experience yourself in such a multi-dimensional, timeless way. This is a huge change. And so this new territory is probably why this really old, big emotions, again, I see the snowball, why that it's up from the depths, why it's even like shaken out. This is a level of obsession. There's disappointment here. The High Priestess. Wow, this is so interesting because these cards came, oh, wow. I've seen these cards before, like recently, so this is interesting. But there's this tendency, again, Spirit is saying the tendency to fixate outside of yourself right now has a lot to do with this discomfort of what the new feels like. It just doesn't feel comfortable because it's new and it's curious. And so there's a fixation, there's a looking at something else, someone else. This has been a time of a lot of grieving over stuff that was supposed to work out and didn't. And like explosively, Spirit is showing me, like explosive grief. It feels like the ground isn't under you. These two energies these are two different energies. This High Priestess and this Day Trader, this is the Prince of Pentacles. No, this is a shift. Okay, so this is, I thought these were two totally distinctly different energies. Your shift, holy crap. And I'm a part of this collective too. This shift is so comprehensive. It's literally going from Workaday Joe to High Priestess. Like that is the level of like internal transformation that has taken place. And I'm being showed, what is that movie? It's like from the 80s. He looks in the mirror and he's a different, Big. He looks in the mirror and he's a grown up. Yeah, so Spirit's saying like you're having this experience of yourself right now and of the world right now. That like you looked in the mirror and you're like, who is that? Is that like, and that's, so this is such a major transformation here. But it's a really solid, beautiful gift from the divine. You don't see this direction. It's kind of like you're blocked from it right now, but you're gaining a lot of strength as you process these losses with that disappointment. There's a lot to celebrate. Like there's a lot to celebrate coming down the pike, and you will be emotionally fulfilled. That's for sure. So that's like the good news with this reading, is like that's just like the bottom of the deck stuff. Now let's just get into it, because I've been prattling on for a solid 22 minutes and we haven't even started the actual reading. I was planning on making this short. Okay, well, we started the actual reading, but you know what's on the table. Spirit, what are we looking at here? Let me get a drink. So this major transformation, I'm going to read whatever this is. Empress of the Pearl. You have an inner gift of great value, born of struggle, adversity, and challenge. In wisdom, you know that suffering can lead to growth, provided you are willing to search for a way to heal through it. Oh my God. That's like this is everything right here. Seeing challenges as a way to expand your spiritual light empowers you to focus on your growing light rather than getting caught up in the suffering. So that's kind of what we were looking at earlier with the Oracle cards, this idea of like taking a different sort of approach towards suffering. Instead of trying to chase it away, or like, well, if I take an aspirin, the headache is gone, you know? Like instead of having that approach to it, have approach to it, it's like, yeah, like you're going to be having the flu. So allow the toxins to process their way out. This is emotional, but the emotional absolutely impacts the physical. And so, you know, there's a sense in which like every tower moment that shakes you down, that makes you like cry and you're purging, like that crying is like the cleansing. That's water. That's the washing that goes on. And that's what I'm really looking at here with the bathtub. I mean, this is a horrible scene, but it's a Three of Swords. This is excruciating pain. But in this card, I mean, this deck, this is horrendous. The pain is as great as it gets. But yeah, Spirit's sort of saying, you know, understand the grieving, crying, purging. This is the cleaning device. That's what it does. And the fact that this week has been like a week of crumbling and, you know, feeling just an immense amount of grief. Because here, this is about wish fulfillment. This is about joy. This is like this is a very weird image that I'm being shown, but whoever this is for, because it's for me too, but like whoever this is for, this image anyway, I'm seeing somebody watching Friends and the show Friends. And then there's like this, I'm actually seeing like a cut, like as if like that was a scene in and of itself. And then I'm seeing someone sort of turn and face the camera and say like, that's not how it works. Like, that's what you think when you're young, but like, that's not how it works. And so like, this is this idea of like, where your idea of what happiness was, what wish fulfillment was, what it looked like, what it felt like, how it operated, like what relationships were, crashed. And almost to the point where it's like, life crashed. All things are horrible. Like, if those, like, oh wow, this is so interesting. So it's like, it's almost like Spirit is saying like, I'm being shown scenes, like this is so weird. Okay, so like if the next scene is God, right? So, but like a movie or something. Wait, let me just listen. I gotta see this through. I can't just babble. Let me see what's going on. Yeah, so like, this is an interesting scene that's coming through my head. So the person who is watching Friends that then turns towards the camera and says, that's not how it works, is then met with the person on the other side of the camera who says, and this is like sort of like a conversation. Wait, what? I lost my train of thought. Where did it go? I messed up. Okay, erase. This conversation is important for some reason, so I'm just going to flounder here for a second. That's not how it works. Oh, okay. So now we're in what looks like a office, and there's one person talking to another person, and then one person is saying, you know, that's not how it works. That's how I thought it works. And then this person says, no, it's completely different. Life is completely different than what you perceive it was going to be when you started planning. It reveals itself to you. You don't control what it is. And so this person is saying, well, if life isn't happy, if it's not joy, if it's not I didn't get any of these things that I wanted, and someone's like running down a list. If that's not what life is, if I don't get any of that stuff, then it's just misery and horror and broken hearts and shattered dreams, right? And then this person says, no, actually, I think that and there's this matriarch, this feeling that's coming through this card, which is almost, it's like a very loving sort of pivot that says like, no, see, that's the trick of it. Once you get rid of this concept of happiness that is created from something as flimsy as, you know, the television show Friends, once that evaporates, then you get to see like the reality of what actually is. Like when you're able to like endure and accept the heartbreak and the disappointment that comes with not getting anything on that list, Spirit's saying, then we can throw out the list. And once you throw out the list, then I can take the curtain, I can pull the curtain back, and I can reveal to you all of the abundance that is all around you, that are these gifts of what life actually has to offer. That doesn't look anything like what you wanted it to, but like looks everything like what it is, and what it is a splendor that you can't even imagine. Oh, this is heavy. This reading might go on for a very long time because we're just starting to hit that pace. The channel is just starting to really come in. So this is very powerful for me in the way, you know, in terms of like, you know, what does this deception mean? Spirit's saying, you know, it's a deception writ large about what makes life worth living, what is good, what is bad. You know, that there's all this, you know, sorting and filing and compartmentalizing, and Spirit says, no, let it break. Like, let the list burn. And then see what comes of these ashes, because Spirit, I keep on hearing splendor, splendor, splendor. The Emperor And the Nine of Wands in reverse. This is so trying hard to hold on to sort of, this is holding on to that concept of life that is this television show, Friends. You know, I don't know why that keeps on coming back again, but it's almost like the perfect example, you know. There aren't like, almost like that's not the ideal in relationships. And so, and this Emperor energy is saying, no, that is the ideal in relationships. And that is the way that it is. And so that's where you have what Spirit is saying, like when you're in a lot of emotional pain and then you start to panic and there's fear that comes in, that fear is when, you know, when Spirit is saying like, everything that you thought was going to make you happy didn't and wasn't going to. And I did you a favor by removing those things that weren't going to make you happy so that you could come into an awareness of yourself. I'm seeing a diamond, with all the little facets that you could see just like the fullness of what you are. And that fullness of what you are will then appreciate the fullness that is around you, wherein everything that you thought you wanted becomes, Spirit saying, like toy soldiers. And you realize that, and these just little toys. Everything you thought you wanted that was plastic. And Spirit is saying, like, I'll show you real elements. Woo! Heavy. But all of that, and then, you know, where the panic sets in is, no, that's not how it is, Spirit. Like, I know what I want and where I'm going, what I'm doing, and I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to persevere. I'm going to power through. That causes panic when there's this much transformation and the pain that transformation entails. This holding on tight and gripping a system that was in place, you know, in terms of a belief system and a way that you saw things, like you're basically thinking that the world is going to end because your world is going to end. This crappy world that wasn't real to begin with, that was toy soldiers that you were just moving around a board, and you thought that it was like such fun, but it was really unfulfilling. So yeah, so okay, fine. So if so, let's just ask Spirit. So if what we thought was going to be happiness ended up being completely not it, and what is going to be fulfilling and happy is it, what is like, show us the new thing, basically. Because I'm definitely find myself in this position where I'm like clinging to the past, basically, in one way or another. What you thought would make you happy was just toys. If you want to encounter what will really make you happy, you have to come out of the pit of despair over the grief of what wasn't going to make you happy anyway. What wasn't a true way of seeing things anyway. Like, it was never gonna, those toys that, and I'm seeing like a toy box, like that was never going to be a relationship that, or a dynamic that was, Spirit saying nourish. Yeah. It was never going to be fully satisfying because it wasn't real. Ooh, ouch, ouch. See, that's where I feel stings. Like, that's when I feel like the bee sting kind of feeling on the inside of my chest. Like, yeah, I don't know. Let's keep going. Well, what is real? What's in and around? Oh, wait, let's move this up. Move this up. I'm going to read that in a second. Okay, Spirit is saying, like, before we move, well, I'm going to put this right here. Before we move into the second part of the reading, I'm going to read that second card. Oh, I love it. I love it. King of Swords energy on the bottom of the deck. This just feels like really well-earned clarity. And it feels like peaceful thinking. It doesn't feel like hectic thinking. Like new interests, like the mind is sharp. So this is having a real grasp on the truth, or you know, like seeing things really clearly and having a peace about it, and having a peaceful, energized, sharp, extraordinarily brilliant mind, and having that something that undergirds everything else. Like this is a perception. So in terms of what Spirit is saying, like, okay, so the television show Friends was not how relationships like actually play out. You know, that's Spirit is like, it's almost like a parody, you know. It is, I guess. And so what is real? You know, what should we be looking at, like in terms of the panic of change and the panic of the disappointments and so on and so forth? Like what is there? So I want to read this one. Immortal treasures. Within you are precious immortal treasures, gifts of your soul, which include the ability that you have to transmit healing. Honor yourself as a healer. Whether formally or informally, your soul brings a special healing light to humanity. You have divine support in your role as a healer in whatever way, usual or highly unusual, that this is unfolding for you now. That's beautiful. That is really beautiful. Yeah, like Spirit's almost saying, like, you know, if you find yourself crying a lot lately, it's like cleaning out. It's cleaning everything out so that your natural abilities can actually like have, like Spirit's saying, like there's so much calcification and like, you know, so much in the way that like your emotional body has been not quite frozen, but rigid somehow. And so Spirit is saying that, like, you know, by letting this cleansing, clearing, like crying it all out kind of thing to happen, you're sort of like, then the natural like healing faculties, which are just like a part of your gifts, you know, part of the energy that you naturally have, that's kind of what this sort of is. It's like a breaking up of like what was like rigid and stuck, and the water moves through it and it washes away, and now we have these clear channels. That's pretty cool. So Spirit is saying, like, you know, clinging to the smallness that was comfortable and unfulfilling, like the fear of losing that right now. Spirit says what you're losing is internal gridlock. You're trying to force a square into a round hole, and so what you're clinging to is a struggle, and it's always been a struggle. So you're clinging to the struggle that you're calling your comfort zone. Ouch! Ow, that one burned. That burned. That insight burned. With the King of Wands here, Spirit wants you to know that, okay, so like what you thought was going to bring you happiness, that was just what you thought was going to bring you happiness. What's actually going to bring you happiness is creating, being creative. That's what I'm seeing here. He's playing a drum. And this fire doesn't burn him. It's a fuel for this. It moves this creation forward. It gives it power. It gives it resonance. Yeah, this is Spirit's like trying to maintain protect your protective zone when you're invincible in reality is kind of it's like where things become crazy making. Spirit's like, the part of you that matters in any way is actually invincible. It's untouchable. You can't hurt it. It's your inborn natural expression. It's following your inspiration. It's like I'm hearing music. There's like, I don't know why, but I'm seeing a bird come out of the heart. Your authenticity is a powerful place. It's a place where there's authenticity. There's nothing to prop up. There's nothing to enforce. It is what it is. Yeah, that Spirit's like, I'm hearing like Spirit saying like, you almost can't have a bad relationship when you come at it with complete and total authenticity, because anybody who doesn't like that authentic you is going to run. They're going to get out of your way. They're going to leave you alone. And anyone who likes that authentic you, that is where the nourishment, a real connection comes from. So you can like weed out all the candy that just rots your teeth by being in that authentic space, being that pure, authentic expression of yourself, like letting your passions take you wherever they want to go. And to be rejected from that space, Spirit is saying, is not a curse, it's a blessing. Because those that accept you in your authentic expression of yourself are not accepting you, they love you, right? They're responding to you as this authentic creature that they feel that kinship with. That's more than just like, passive acceptance. That's like when you click and it's fun and the conversation is sparky, and that's real connection. That's real meeting of the minds, meeting of the hearts. Like you can't do that without stepping into that authenticity. And so Spirit's almost saying like friendship, the heartbreak here, the sorrow card, Spirit is saying in contrast to that, let me take a look here. We're at 42 minutes. This is going to go on forever. I'm not even going to try and make it short. Wow. So like this feels, I don't even want to say this, but this has a kind of a, if life isn't the way that if like, oh my gosh, there's like almost like an ultimatum. If I don't get this, then I don't want to live. If I don't have that, then I don't want to, like, this is really, really hard. That's horrible. So it's almost like Spirit saying like, what was never going to work is shattered. And what was never going to work was once whole was just an illusion to begin with. So this is the truth. So Spirit is saying like, this is the truth for you. We're going to shift the energy just a little in a second. The Sun card is clarity. It's a masculine energy. It's beautiful. It takes up, how do I put this? How do I put that? I'm gonna just look at this for a second. Sorry, I'm seeing something really interesting. The Sun doesn't apologize. It doesn't run out. The Sun can cause shadows. Mistakes can, of perception can occur, but as it interacts with different objects, but the Sun has nothing to hide, right? And so basically Spirit is saying, oh wow, this is so interesting. I'm going to try not to mess this up, because I have something that I'm like getting a handle on that is really cool, and I just don't know how to put words to that. Hold on, give me a second. I'm going to put this over here. Yeah. Oh, okay. So I'm being shown this, like, life is a gift. And, like, we know that, right? But no, life is a gift. But, like, we know that. But Spirit's saying, no, life is a gift. And we've all had these moments where, yeah, it's like whenever you have these near misses, you know, like these moments where Spirit says, you know, on the other side of this broken heart is clarity. On the other side of that clarity is a sense of self. Within that sense of self is infinite beauty. So it's its own source of love. It's its own source. The sun is its own, yeah. So the sun is its own source. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. It took me forever to like find words for that. It was very difficult. It was a weird sort of in my brain, but the sun is its own source. So Spirit is saying, you know, on the other side of this broken heart is a heart that is its own source of love. It just has an abundance. It's never lacking. It never runs out. It's fixed, you know, but expanding and moving at all times and touching everything and interacting. And it's, yeah. So the heartbreak now leads to an expansion of and a sense of self later that is just, I just want to experience that. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to work on it. So, Spirit is just saying, like, it's time for a new kind of relationship. Spirit is showing me, you know, this is a card that often means like school. You know, it can mean church, you know, government structures, but not the way it's coming through right now. This is coming through in a way that's like, Spirit is saying, like variety and relational dynamics. What is this? I'm being shown that, like, being seen, being really seen, and then having that reflected back at you, mirroring. So when you're a kid, your parent like mirrors for you, you know, show like you laugh and you smile, your mom smiles back, and then you feel like you have this exchange and you've been seen and you've had this interaction. And Spirit is saying, like, you know, the difference between, you know, the heartbreak version of happiness and the reality version of happiness is this distance over here. Because these people don't feel seen because they're not being seen. You know, this is a splendor kind of an energy, and you know, its placement is to say like wait, we're gonna redirect. There's something more here. But you know, as it's like it, you know, the sort of the way that the cards alchemize, like what's coming through is not only do we have like you weed out anything that is gonna slow you down because it's weird, and it's not in alignment with your authentic self and expression. And again, that's what inspiration gets like sparked there. That, you know, the sun is its own source of love. And Spirit is saying, like, not needing anything doesn't mean you're not going to get anything. The sun interacts with everything, like, fully. It's such a source of effort. It's just beautiful anyway. But in addition to that, you know, a new kind of relationship is possible from that perspective where you really feel seen. And when you feel seen, there's a sense of what your needs are. And with a sense of what your needs are, your needs actually get met, and then you grow. And so Spirit is showing me like that what's being brought into your life at the end, on the other side of this crash, is the experience of being truly seen, truly understood, truly loved. There's no emptiness in that. There's not like a hollowed out with a spoon kind of a feeling of the body. There is, I'm seeing like somebody picks up a 2-year-old and like and this exchange between like the parent and child of like, I adore you, you're just perfect. Spirit is saying like, that's not you, that's unique to that kind of relationship, but all of your relationships can have that same joy and delight in your presence. Like it's not like you have to grow up and just be cold and mean and everything is like, there's a way in which people can delight in your presence and you can feel that. And it's like that, like, it's like buoyant, you're not heavy, you're light, and it feels good. And it's really happy. And that's where joy, like, and abundance is at its, Spirit saying like, you don't need to be praised and then like, adored. You just need to be seen and have who you are and the natural expression of who you are with the right people. It will, the result is to be delighted in. Oh, that's like really pretty and sweet and cute. Okay. So, yeah. Spirit's saying like there's a choice, like you can hold on to this comfort zone that is cold comfort zone, freezing cold comfort zone. You can hold on to it with an iron grip and panic every time your emotions get the best of you. But first of all, when the emotions get the best of you, again, a cleaning, right? So Spirit says, I have a soul family, a soul tribe for you, waiting. Just right there, waiting to love and embrace you. Like it's not impossible. It's not like, something of fantasy. It's like, I'm seeing the show Friends again. So it's like, it's not that television show. It's not that experience of those types of, it's not that. It's ways in which like we work together using our gifts and then appreciate these gifts within each other and what comes of that and the discoveries and the expansion. Like this is play and creativity and purpose, interconnectedness, interdependence, definitely not codependence. Like there's just a beauty here. So it's like Spirit saying like, yeah, having, come on the other side of the heartbreak, having the kind of, experience of yourself where your heart is its own source and it doesn't need to be looking for love. It doesn't mean you don't get love. Plenty of love comes from that. In fact, that's just pure abundance. Yes, there's a sense in which you have to let go of this established sense of yourself that, you've worked hard for. And, go from this space of the Emperor with dominion over everything to the space of the Knight of Wands, which is like more playful. It's a more youthful energy. It has less responsibility. It puts less demand. This energy puts less demands on itself. Spirit's saying it's not irresponsible. It's just operating at full capacity and not at 20%. Because when there's trying to hold on and keep things in a certain way and hold things together in a certain way, that uses so much energy that you're just trying to, meet the individual needs that are the most important prioritized things. And Spirit says, with all of your energy freed up, your goals, it's just like you kind of fly through your goals, oh, I want to jump through that, that's hoop, that's a goal I want to get to, like, and there's a playfulness about it. Oh, that like really, my heart like did something and all of that. All right, I'm going to pull some oracle cards and then I'm going to close this out because it's getting really close to being too long. All right, so let's get some oracle cards and just see what Spirit has to say in closing about all of this. This is a sort of beautiful message, I think. So the reading topic is like, what's going on? Guidance. This is a death and a rebirth. This is like a death of the old crappy, the need to let go, and what it means on the other side of letting go. Like what is on the other side of letting go. So if we could just ask Spirit a little bit about the process from point A to point B, because I think that that's an important part of the equation. It's really nice to know that, you know, on the other side of heartbreak is a heart that is its own source of love, and that also receives love as easily as it gives love, and that there's never any lack there. It's nice to know that, but in terms of the process to getting there, see if we can just get just a little bit of information on that and a little bit of encouragement. See what comes out. And something. Listen. Okay. Now, let me just get a couple other oracle cards. Okay. I'm gonna get a lyric. Oh, there we go. Those two. All right. Just give me one more second, and then we'll just put all these together and we'll see what the picture is. Spirit, tell us about this process a little bit. How do we make our way through that labyrinth of self-deception into a place of acceptance, and then how do we get from acceptance to what it would mean to be this way in the world? What do we have to change, give up, etc., if anything? Spirit is saying nothing. It's a perspective shift. Okay. That doesn't mean that, I mean, again, it's a collective read, so each one has their own direction, but I don't know what that was referring to. Lost that train of thought right in the middle of it. Okay, we're good. Let's do this. And I'm going to take the bottom of the deck from this other deck that we already, and see what that is as well. Okay. All right, what's going on here? I'm going to just, you know what, I'm going to move it all around. I know I'm taking forever to just bear with me. I might speed this up. Nah, I probably won't. Okay. So let's just get right into this, and then we'll close it out. Oh, here it is. Gosh, I just heard another song. You got a friend in me. I don't know what that is. It's like it's from, I feel like it's from Parenthood, the 80s movie. You got a friend in me? I don't know. Somebody knows. All right, so this is just a game changer in terms of, you know, this is the card. It says strength of character and moral integrity. And so character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experiences of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, vision cleared, ambition inspired, and success achieved. Helen Keller. That really sums it up, doesn't it? In terms of Spirit's response to, like, well, how do we get there? Well, that's like sitting with the flow and allowing these emotions allowing these emotions, sorry, like, that was a funny word to me. Allowing these emotions to function as the cleansing agents that they're meant to, releasing a lot of stuff that is heavy and just in the way, sitting with the discomfort of with the flu-like feelings of what this release process is really like, accepting the feeling instead of panicking about it, so that it can sort of work its way out. And Spirit's saying, like, by sitting with these feelings, there's a sense in which they begin to reveal themselves to you as well as they release. And that Spirit's showing me, like, that is the moment, you know, when a feeling when a feeling is revealing itself to you as it releases, that's the moment when you're like sitting on the couch and you like have this thought of like, I'm trying to, what thought, like just a sad thought, like I never had a birthday party or whatever it is, you know, like whatever the lament is, like that moment that makes you cry. Spirit is saying, like, that's the feeling revealing itself to you. And then as you cry, you're releasing that stronghold of grief. And then it gets out of your body. And again, it clears things up. So I love that. Okay, so Spirit is saying, what do we need to know about this process towards that, like within, Spirit saying not towards, this process within that transformation. It's okay to not be frenetically busy. Spirit says, like, there's a time and a reason and a season and a purpose to being in a receptive space instead of like frenetically busy, absorbing. Yeah, so Spirit is saying, like, try to go out, like if you can go outside, you know, if you can find a peaceful spot, like complete and total silence, just you and that spot, 10 minutes, just do it. Do it every day for a week. And then you'll probably be doing it every day for the rest of your life, I'm hearing. It's been a long time, you know, like there's this lament, Spirit is saying, like, part of the grief is just how long it's been, you know, it's like it's taken a lifetime to go home and get it. It's taken a lifetime to find my way home to myself. And I'm almost hearing this cry of like, I want to go home. I just don't know where home is. Like, Spirit is saying to, you know, that walk towards like that authentic expression of yourself, that authentic understanding of yourself, that place of truth within you and how that expresses around you and like the strength and everything that means. That is that feeling of home. And there is a sense in which there's a walk to that place. As a process of getting there, and it's a process of exploration and being really, you know, this is a hot air balloon. It's, you know, this is a process of exploration wherein you're exploring from, you know, that's what this is. So Spirit is saying, like, you know, take some time to really think about, like, actually stop and think about what you want. What do I want? I want that. No, like, what do you want? Like, I want that. No. What do you want? You know, like really like get a hold of what you want, why you want it, and understand your motives there, and understand that it's a process of discovery, and that process of discovery is part of the alchemy of the soil wherein growth and life like is constantly being created from. So don't expect this to be, you know, a destination that you eventually get to. It's a process that's forever unfolding, but you become more and more and more at home within yourself as you move through it and as you sort of get there. And so Spirit's saying, like, this isn't a solo journey. This is like the soulmate old friend card. Like, this is not meant to be a solo journey. This is like my dear friend. I want a card. Where is it? I'm not trying not to make this like the longest reading that ever was, but I'm going to just grab one card. I want to see something with this. That's something happened. Something happened here. So there's just been a heartbreak, you know. okay, so Spirit is saying now read this. So there's some heartbreak around friendships. You know, there's been heartbreak around relationships. There's been a lot of disappointment. There's been a lot of disappointment with the self as well. And Spirit just wants to say that those relationships are a reflection of that version of yourself. And the relationships coming in are going to be a reflection of the part of you that is able to receive, be vulnerable, and experience. I'm hearing like release. It's a relief. But you're processing a lot of what feels like a lot of rejection here. And Spirit's saying, you know, like, oh, what is that? That's so cool. Yeah, rejection is God's protection, but there's also a way in which the inauthentic you was never gonna be accepted by the people that are in alignment with the authentic you. And that just leaves you stumbling around in the darkness, like clashing with people who were never really gonna be in your, like match your vibe anyway. And so Spirit's saying, like, you don't have to do this alone. You know, some of the relationships that are dying out, like, do leave a kind of a hole where you might not have someone like that immediately, you know, has that, you know, you might not have that person, but that moving through this pain, you know, you weren't being rejected. What was being rejected was stuff that wasn't even authentically you somehow. I don't know. I'm not really clear on this, but Spirit says to read this thing, to read this card. Tai Chi rising. Your energy field is growing stronger with more spiritual electricity pulsing through your being. Take time to nourish your nervous system as it adjusts, and be gentle with yourself as you adjust to increasing levels of spiritual potency, which gives more impact to your words, actions, and thoughts. May you be strong and merciful, powerful and wise in equal measure. I've been getting this feeling. For me, my experience of like whatever happening with my energy is just that the intensity is like making me sharp a little bit, like agitated, like gosh, why is everything so intense? Like, so I don't know if I don't know what that was, but I resonate with this anyway. And in terms of this increasing level of spiritual potency, Spirit is saying, rise up, because your purpose is peopled. That's really weird. Your purpose is surrounded by people that are in resonance with you. And moving through this heartbreak is going to reveal to you more about yourself. And that's where I'm seeing the ground soften, and being with that softened space within you, and allowing yourself to enter this, like, you know, arena of enchantment. Let yourself be young. Let wonder be something that you experience again. And Spirit is saying, like, that's actually a little bit in the way of a chore and a job right now. There's like something to the effect of like fake it till you make it. You know, that childlike wonder, like, how do you artificially have that if you don't even remember what it feels like? Be open to it. Keep your inside soft for as long as you can. Like, Spirit is saying, I want you to, like, whenever you're having this like tightness in your chest and this like kind of a vibe inside of your body, to take a deep breath. Just, again, breathing is so good. And just say this sentence: I'm completely safe right now. In this moment, nothing's threatening me. This moment right here, where I'm sitting on my couch, not the future, not the past, not somebody outside. In this moment right now, me just sitting where I am completely safe, and there's nothing threatening me. Spirit's saying you can't, like, I don't know if somebody else said this, but so I don't know where it comes from, but Yeah, Spirit's saying humans can't play when they're afraid. They can't play and be afraid at the same time. And so it's a little bit of a job to, you know, I'm seeing someone disarming a bomb. Remind yourself that you are safe in these moments when you're safe, so that you can begin to experience play, and with play, wonder, and like step into the space of enchantment. So try to recognize when you're, you know, when there's anxiety rumbling around and fear around you, like just be in these moments where you just kind of look around and you're like, even if you're like under the bed, you know, having a really hard moment, like upset, freaking out, to sort of just like look at the wall and say, like, you know, there's no tiger, there's no lion, nothing is hurting me right this second. I'm safe right here in this minute. And then just be in that space. And that's kind of the beginning of allowing for this like terrain where that isn't drenched with like levels of threat and fear, so that you can begin to remember what it feels like to play again. So these cards are funny. I never really use them, but I was drawn to grab this deck today because I just was. There's lyrics on here, and so let's just read these. So this is Ella Fitzgerald. You are your own best teacher. Nothing is more hard-won than innocence. Intuition beats experience. And let's see what this one says, and then we'll kind of feel them together. Nothing becomes a legend more than not giving a damn. Bad taste trumps no taste any day. Lovers come and lovers go, but sequins are forever. So both of these cards are basically saying, stop, you know, you gotta move to the beat of your own drum. Where's that card? Where is it? Watch me take forever. Oh yeah. You know, move to the beat of your own drum. This is like a weird phrase. Embrace rejection. Embrace it. Delicious rejection. Why is it so good? Because anyone who is rejecting you when you're in an authentic space, that sucks for you. They suck. That would be a terrible. Imagine being stuck in a car on like a trip with a person that like rejected you. I want you just to stop and ask yourself if you rejected them first but just didn't say anything. I mean, yeah, that's a strange thing that came through, but it's almost like, let them dislike you, let them judge you, let them think the wrong thing about you. The hell with it. Nothing becomes a legend more than not giving a damn. That doesn't mean that you don't care about the people around you and things around you, but at a certain point, you know, just surrender. Just surrender. Surrender to the peaceful moment. Surrender to the not knowing everything. The goal is to experience honestly, to experience yourself, and then to be vulnerable to the extent that you're like, this is the real me, hey, with the few people that you feel safe with. And if you don't feel safe with anyone, those people will come along. You know, you just practice being in that space. You know, be at home with yourself. You know, this is this whole, you know, a long way home, domesticity, comfort. Spirit says, like, there's a lot of comfort that hasn't happened that needs to happen. Pick up your inner child, hold it. And the way that you do that is just by saying, I accept this emotion, and not fighting every emotion that's unpleasant. Because that emotion is part of you. You're just rejecting a part of you, and it hurts. And it's a part of you that feels weak and angry and frustrated, and that's a part of you that needs the strength that you have for other things to attend to it, you know? So you just got to take that time for yourself where you're at home in your body, you work on feeling at home in your body, allow the emotions to roll through, and work themselves out, you know, like stop trying to distract yourself away from yourself. Yourself needs you. That came through really strong. And then, you know, this understanding and this transformation and this shift that you're going through, you know, Spirit's saying, now we're going to experience this understanding that miracles are endless. Now we're in a position to make your dreams real, because you aren't starting with an unreal expectation in the form of a dream. And so when you let go of those expectations and you say like, okay, well, I didn't get the kind of relationships that looked exactly like the show Friends, and therefore there are no relationships that are worth having because they're all terrible. Spirit is saying, that's dead. That's over. That way of thinking, feeling, being. Yeah. If I can't have this, then I'm going to die. Like, I'm just like seeing that. And Spirit says, yes. So then die, like in that way, to that thing, and that way of thinking, and that belief system, and those losses. It fucking hurts. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm not going to play. Like, I know what that is. I know what it is to let a dream die. I know what it is to let them all die. It hurts. But you keep going, because from the new vantage point of everything else died away, everything else failed and collapsed and all of that, from the wreckage, you know, it's like the sky. Wow. So I'm being shown, like, Spirit is saying, like, you know, the tornado comes through and it knocks everything down, and that's terrible. But then for the first time, you're seeing the horizon, because there's not a bunch of buildings and structures in the way. And from that view of the horizon, you see, like, look at all this I have. I have everything I need to make anything I want. I can build in any way I want. I have all the materials. I have all the resources. I have everything I need to build myself back up any way I want. The miracles are endless. The ways in which I can become something and be something and relate to things in some way, they're endless if I just embrace that things can be new. I'm preaching. I'm just preaching now. At this point, it feels like the channel is just going right there. Make your dreams real. I mean, honestly, so I sat down with this reading. I'm just going to let this go forever. Holy crap, this is long. Yeah, I sat down to this reading kind of just like, I don't understand. You know, I don't understand, like, the intensity of the stuff that I'm feeling. Like, I'm oversharing right now. It's fine. Like, this is what I sat down with this reading, and, you know, everything that's come through is just like really enlightening, but it doesn't take away a level of sadness that comes with letting things die, letting dreams die. Like, that's really, really hard. It's scary when you don't have any kind of a path charted forward beyond that. It's really scary. But let me just see if there's anything else that wants to come through, aside from, like, you know, Spirit's calling for you to, you know, put on your big kid pants and let the losses go. But then, you know, this to me, you know, once this heartbreak isn't, you know, once you are able to move through this, Spirit is saying, explore, be curious, be bold, don't be afraid. I mean, like, and again, like, that's like saying, like, oh, you have anxiety, just calm down. Like, that's not what I mean. You know, what Spirit's sort of trying to say is, this is a process. So that you don't really understand where you are right now, that you don't really understand what to do with your emotions, that that no one's giving you, like, a direct answer to the question of what's the next step, where's the next direction. Spirit says, because you're not in the phase where the next step is there. You're in the phase where you're exploring the difference between where you were when you realized everything that was fake, and where you're going when you're learning, but you don't yet totally know what real even is. So, like, you're in between. And, you know, when we started, and it was like, you know, you have to have the flu for a little while, Spirit's kind of saying, like, you know, let your body, like, get rid of the energetic gunk that's there. That's that unease, that's that yucky feeling. You know, that's just like, be in that feeling. That's the in between, because the beginning of that feeling is horrible. The middle of that feeling, it's like, ugh, what the heck is going on? And then towards the end, as it dissipates, that's just the end of the process, and you can't really rush it. And so Spirit says, like, try to find peace within this process, because it's leading somewhere. And that is the message that came through. And I think that's it, because that's a lot. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining me. This was a lot of fun well, it wasn't a lot of fun. It was not a lot of fun. It was a lot of, it was helpful. There was a lot of insight that came through. And so I hope that it was helpful for you. And I'll see you again soon.